Good morning, everybody. It's Monday, March 5th, 9 a.m. Eastern, and we have the SPY bears coming out to play again. We are not seeing the follow-through that the bulls are looking for. We had solid bullish reversal candlesticks all over the place on Friday with strong closes, and we are seeing no follow-through so far to start this morning. So we need that confirmation of the bullish reversal candlesticks with another green day, and we have a long way to go. So for SPY, we're down at the low pre-market. We very clearly have some lower highs on the 5-minute time frame to be watching. And on the hourly time frame, and this is going to be the case for most individual names as there's a lot of correlation these days, hourly 20-period moving average is being back-tested. Resistance is going to be the high of Friday, key level. If individual names cannot break the high of Friday, they are not going to confirm the reversal candlestick. And best case scenario for the bulls would be a daily inside bar if we can't break that high. And the first support that I'm looking for on all individual names, or I should say most, is the afternoon consolidation low. There was a little brief consolidation here where we established a higher low and saw continuation. So for SPY, that's 266.53, and that's a must-hold level. And if you look at individual names, I was running through the whiteboard this morning, and all individual names have this little consolidation. Again, I shouldn't say all, but most have this little consolidation and form that higher low on the hourly time frame. That's the level that the bulls need to hold in order to keep an hourly higher low pattern going. So SPY is going to be a decent bit above that level to start the day, at least $1, but we're going to be $2 away from the high of Friday. So again, if bulls do not break the high of Friday, they do not prove anything in terms of continuation, and the bears are starting this morning with the upper hand. So I'm watching those two levels on SPY, 266.53 and 269.72. Checking in on the daily time frame, there's our big bullish reversal candlestick, and again, not setting up well to start the confirmation and follow through. And a reason for that, look at oil. So oil had a bullish reversal candlestick Thursday and Friday with nice long lower wicks. No confirmation today. This is not a strong confirmation candlestick. Oil is down at the low of the day and is currently pulling back. So looking at the hourly chart for oil, this looks like our Friday consolidation low of 60.96. So that's a key support on oil, and resistance is the high of Friday. And that's going to be up at 61.57. So 61.57 resistance, and that hourly support, same thing that we're keeping an eye on for SPY. Pretty similar setup. The difference being oil has a higher high here on the hourly that we hit, and SPY does not because oil was trading longer hours than SPY, even with after hours. So certainly going to be watching the correlation for oil. If the bulls do show up on oil, we will be watching to see if they show up on SPY as well. Checking the dollar is trying to form a higher low on the daily. Support is 89.50. Anything above 89.50 will be a higher low. So that's what the bulls are looking to hold, and we're seeing the bulls attempt to make their way back up towards resistance of 90.93. So our current daily higher low, 89.83, trying to form, and we'll see if the bulls can get some follow through from here. Dollar's still staying in control on the daily time frame, which means gold still seeing a little bit of weakness on the daily time frame. Not a whole lot of follow through, and we are watching the lower high pattern on the daily, which is still clearly intact with the new resistance of 1327.68. So gold inverse to the dollar and seeing a little bit of weakness. And we're going to be watching very close. Can the gold bulls break the lower high daily pattern? And can the dollar bears break the higher low pattern is something that we're going to be watching to start this coming week. Again, already did oil. So oil, we're watching a bit of weakness, and that is certainly being felt by the S&P 500. And natural gas here on the daily time frame, still very uneventful, slow and steady. And we're looking at multiple tops up at 273. Bulls need to break 273. And in terms of support, it's 2673 and 2642. Very slow, drawn-out 4-hour pattern. Not a whole lot of volatility going on in natural gas comparative to what we have been seeing over the past couple of weeks. Cryptocurrency, Bitcoin is very close to a key break, and the top of the daily bounce at this point is 11,775, and yesterday we got up to 11,600 essentially. So we got less than $200 away from the bull break. They're trying to form a bull flag on this 4-hour time frame to see continuation. Low volume on consolidation is a good sign for the bulls. So at this point, the bulls have full control. Red flag number one that we might be in consolidation again is if we lose 11,411 support, and the bulls will get a little bit more concerned on the daily time frame if we don't break 11,775 and we break support at $11,041. So we do have two supports that are ideal for the bulls to hold. The daily chart still showing strength overall, and we can see that we have seen a nice 7-8 days in a row, and we're at key resistance. Bulls want to get that out of the way and avoid the potential of a double top. Litecoin daily equilibrium pattern, extremely clear. High, low, lower high, higher low. Past 5 days, extremely tight. Support is 205.20 and resistance is 217.50, about a $12 range that we are currently trading within. And we should see a break either today or tomorrow on Litecoin. And ideal scenario for the bulls would be a break of 217.50 and then to see Bitcoin break 11,775 to see bullish correlation help the bull momentum on that break. And look at the volume here. Pretty clear volume declining, and we're going to look for a volume spike once this equilibrium does break. Ethereum still weak. The 4-hour time frame is still in a lower high pattern. It's the only one out of these big three that have a 4-hour lower high pattern. And clear resistance 866.72, and we just topped out at 866. So rejecting just under that resistance level. And once it breaks, we will shift the momentum on the 4-hour time frame. But as of right now, it is still a clear lower high pattern, still keeping the bears in control of Ethereum. Checking in on Ripple. Ripple has some rumors and some news momentum. It's going to be on CNBC later and going to be with the CEO of Coinbase. So people are speculating that Coinbase is going to add Ripple. If that does not come out, if that news does not come out, we will see a sell the news reaction. So right now we just had a bull break, 5-minute equilibrium pattern, broke bullish here. And now it looks like we're forming another tightening pattern with some clear 5-minute lower highs that the bulls need to break, and no red flags for the bulls unless we see a break on the 15-minute time frame of the higher lows. So support right now is 104.68, and I'd say the must-hold level is 103.4. So still tight on the 15-minute time frame, but the bulls are still maintaining control after that short-term little bull break that we had. Looking at the longer-term time frames, we had a 4-hour inside bar bull break, and now we're forming a 4-hour inside bar. Yet again, hourly RSI, not too overbought, and things tightening up. We'll look for a more clear break on this hourly time frame later today. So plays that I'm going to be watching today, going to keep an eye on our car because we did have a decent bounce that we were looking for on Thursday in terms of the inside bar breaking bullish, and the bulls are still trying to build this base of support and see some follow through to the upside. So 455 is key support and resistance is 535 and 565. I personally wouldn't be playing it unless it looked like volume was going to pick up. So we have a clear declining volume pattern on the daily, and we need to see more than 150,000 shares traded at least to be comfortable with some volume and some volatility trading our car. So it's a low risk, or excuse me, a high risk, high reward, low cap name. Something I'm keeping an eye on for a volume spike. Also going to be watching the entire Canadian MJ sector. They're all forming daily inside bars. At least the big four are daily inside bars to be watching today. And I'm going to be watching the lead tech bulls. Again, I keep saying this week after week, we're watching Apple, Netflix, and Amazon as long as these lead tech bulls remain strong, as Netflix is going to see all-time highs today. But as long as they remain strong, we're not going to be looking for the market to see an all-out dump. We're going to have to see the strongest tech names see weakness for weakness in the market, or I should say for significant weakness in the market. We can certainly see SPY go red, even if these names stay strong. But in order to see, a dump back down towards our dump lows from a couple weeks ago on the S&P 500, in my opinion, it's going to require these lead tech bulls to start losing their daily uptrends and seeing weakness that the other names have been subject to for the last couple of weeks. So checking in on 5-minute and hourly setups as we head into the morning. SPY still down at the lows of pre-market, not seeing any sign of the bulls so far this morning. And we're going to start it off here with GM and GIS. So GM was a bullish reversal candlestick on Friday with a long lower wick. Bulls have to break 37.61 to try and confirm. So any individual name that cannot break its high of Friday is instantly weaker than the names that can break their high of Friday. Because if we can't break the high of Friday, we are not going to confirm any bullish reversal candlesticks. So the daily lower Bollinger Band is going to be resistance on GM. Update that level at the start of the open. That's going to be an important level, and it will probably be just after 37.61. So if we break that resistance, daily lower Bollinger Band will be next. As far as what the hourly time frame looks like, I'm looking at a higher low that formed. Let's see, this one was after hours. So I'd say the more important level is 37.08. And that's that afternoon little consolidation higher low that formed. So 37.08 support, and resistance is 37.61. And we're seeing weakness here pre-market with the market weakness. GIS. So GIS on the daily time frame is trying to see an oversold daily bounce play out. We had an inside bar on Friday. Break of 51.21 is bullish. Break of 50.43 is bearish. Hourly time frame shows the tightening range. The hourly 20-period moving average is support, and we need to see a break. If we can get over 51.21, we're looking at 51.36, and after we clear 51.36, we should get some more space to the upside. So those are the two key resistance levels. Have to break the daily inside bar bullish to be looking for this daily oversold bounce to play out. Keeping in mind, we're certainly fighting the trend over the last couple of months, and we will be looking for a lower high to be set on the daily once this oversold bounce does get going. But first things first, inside bar has to break bullish. MSFT. So MSFT, we can see the pre-market weakness due to the market pulling back. We've got the bullish reversal candlestick from Friday, similar to so many other individual names. 93.15 is the level that has to break. If we cannot break 93.15, best case scenario for the daily bulls is an inside bar. The hourly time frame, hourly higher low from Friday was 91.35. We also have the hourly 20-period moving average as support. So 91.35 support and 94.57 resistance. And we'll see if we can get the bull break of the Friday high for some continuation. CSCO. Daily chart still maintaining higher lows, so support is 43.10, the high of Friday. Bulls have to break the high of Friday to try and confirm the bullish candlestick with a break of 44.22. So all individual names that we've looked at so far this morning are seeing a lower open under the high of Friday, and it's going to take a little bit of bullish momentum to break that level. Hourly support is the higher low that formed in the afternoon, and looking at 43.41 as an hourly support level. So 43.41 support and 44.22 resistance on CSCO. EMH.V. Inside bar on the daily time frame for EMH, 505 and 504 are key support, and resistance is 531 and 543. So the bulls have to break 531 for a daily inside bar bull break. We saw some bearish momentum at the end of the week, at the end of the day Friday. If we see a bear break of 504, next support we're looking down at is in the low $4 range. We will be looking for a higher low to form on the daily if we do break that level, but we could very easily see 10% of pullback if we do break $5 psychological support, or excuse me, the 504 and 505 double low of support from Thursday and Friday. So the bears have a slight bit of momentum. Have to see the bulls show up in the Canadian MJ sector, and that's the case for a lot of individual names. We still have lower highs on the daily for most names. We have inside bars to be watching today, and the bulls really want to start this week off on the right foot and break those inside bars bullish. If we break the inside bars bearish for the Canadian MJ sector, we are still very clearly in a daily lower high pattern, and that's going to be a bit of a setback for the bulls. Checking LG, I believe we had news on LG, so we'll see how the bulls react to that news. Pretty illiquid, not a lot of trading opportunity, pretty tight ranges, and we're looking down at support of, let's see, we closed at the low of the day Friday, 21 cents. Support after that is 19. If the bulls do react to news, 225 and 25 are the next resistances. Bulls have to break 25 cents to have any kind of hope of turning around the daily trend to begin to favor the bulls in the short term. So it's a pretty big day for Canadian MJ with all of these daily inside bars trying to break the lower high daily patterns. Amazon, I'd call Amazon number 2 tech name in terms of strongest. Netflix is number 1. Amazon high of Friday, 1501. And here we are going to test that level first thing. So if we break 1501, next resistance is 1518.49. We're in a little downtrend here, seeing the weakness of pre-market come into play. So we have to break the high of Friday first thing to be looking for follow-through. Amazon is one of the better positioned names that we've looked at so far this morning in terms of proximity to the high of Friday and the ability for the bulls to potentially break that level. In terms of support, the hourly higher low that we're watching from Friday is 1478.74. So we have a lot of space before we get down towards that support level, much closer to breaking resistance than we are to breaking hourly higher low support. XL, just trading straight across here, And this almost looks like buyout news. If it is buyout news, they're going to give a target, and the price is going to stay pretty consistently pinned to that price point. So a big gap up is coming. I'm looking at support of 56 even, and resistance is 56.50 or 56.60. And again, if it is a buyout, there's not going to be much trading opportunity at all, because like I said, the price is going to stick pretty close to near that price that the deal is going to go through for. And curious what that news is if you know it for XL. MU. Bullish engulfing candlestick on Friday. Closed near the high of the day. 49.25 is resistance. Again, if we cannot break 49.25, it is an initial red flag that we're likely to see some consolidation. After 49.25 is 49.46, the high we've seen on this bull move. As far as hourly supports go, we're looking at the Friday higher low, and that was down at 48.34. So 48.34 is support that the bulls ideally want to maintain. Range of 48.34 support and 49.25 as resistance. DISCK. Nice uptrend and strong close on Friday. Daily inside bar, so a break of 23.22 is bullish and a break of 22.46 is bearish. Much closer to a bull break than we are to a bear break. And that close up at the high of the day shows that momentum. For the bulls to stay in control, they want to hold the afternoon consolidation low, 22.95. So first tight range I'd be watching is 22.95 support and 23.22 resistance. If we do get a bull break over 23.22, 23.30 is the next level, as the bulls try and maintain the 50-day moving average support, which we've been grinding against for essentially the last month on the daily chart. TBP.V, also pretty illiquid. Some of these small cap Canadian MJ names losing a lot of their volume over the last couple of weeks. Support is 83, followed by 76. And resistance, we have a double top at 89 the past couple of days. If we cannot break 89, bulls are going nowhere, and we're going to be consolidating back down towards the low 80s and upper 79s. Or upper 70s, I should say. So a weak close on Friday. Bulls need a complete turnaround here in the sector. Important day for the sector with the bears in slight favor due to the close that we saw on Friday. BABA on the daily, bullish reversal candlestick, have to break 180.23 to break the high of Friday and try and confirm it. Hourly higher low of support is at 177.87. So that's the range to watch, hourly higher low and high of Friday. Again, so many individual names falling into that pattern in terms of key levels that we're watching because the correlation is so strong with all these names. NVDA had a big bullish day on Friday. Again, the high of Friday, 236.80 has to break for any kind of follow through, and the hourly higher low of support here is all the way down at 229.48. So there is a lot of space until we encounter that hourly support. The hourly 20 period is there as well in the 232s. And we are starting pretty strong overall. This is a good looking hourly chart because we have so much space before we get to the hourly higher low of support. And we'll see if the bulls can break that high of Friday to try and confirm this reversal candlestick. XBI, another name that had a really solid Friday. Big bullish reversal candlestick. And then struggling here with the market weakness pre-market. So the bulls have to break Friday high 92.13. The hourly higher low that we're watching for support, I am looking at 90.62. So 90.62 support and 92.13 as resistance. Pretty wide range showing that volatility. And again, XBI and LABU, LABD have tons of volatility. And in terms of sectors, I haven't seen any sector that sees more volatility over the last week or two. And we had a nice double bottom on Thursday and Friday that led to the bulls seeing a big time move on Friday's trading. Have to follow through and break the high of Friday. TWLO. TWLO on the daily time frame. Very strong in bull breakout mode. Inside bar on Friday broke bullish at 35.35, or make that 35.30, and the bulls did not look back. Huge follow through from the inside bar bull break on the daily time frame. So resistance is 37.63. Have to break 37.63 to be looking for continuation. After a big time breakout like this, if we do not break the high of Friday, we will likely see that lead to some profit taking. So we have to see 37.63 break, and if we are unable to see that happen, the higher low on the hourly, I'm looking at the key support short term of 36.55. So 36.55 to 37.63 is the current range that I'm watching. CLF. So CLF on the daily time frame did form a higher low and higher high on the daily. So resistance is 817. And looking at support, let's see, we're breaking some support pre-market. So really we're looking down at 757, which is the low of Friday. So we're looking at the range of Friday, and it did close with an indecision candlestick with a bit of an upper wick and a bit of a lower wick, almost in a doji. And this hourly chart, not so much an equilibrium on the hourly, but that's because extended hours is throwing off that pattern. Certainly seeing weakness pre-market with the market weakness. And yeah, it's just the range of Friday that we're looking at this point. Not many clear levels currently nearby. PCG. So PCG on the daily time frame, upper wick of profit taking on Thursday and some bearish follow through on Friday. Support is 40.60 and then 40.06. So those are the two support levels to watch. If we break 40.06, it is a clear bear break on the daily time frame that will likely continue to favor the bears, as right now the bounce that's been going on over the last 2-3 weeks is an oversold bounce, and it's not doing anything to change the trend. It's just cooling off the daily RSI levels. So the bears are absolutely still in control, and I've got resistance of 41.06 and then 41.13 if the bulls are going to try and turn things around. So red flag or bear signal number 1 is 40.60, and then 40.06 is the key daily little higher low that the bears want to see break. WMT, bullish reversal candlestick on the daily from Friday. Bulls have to break 88.90 to see follow through. We are opening lower compared to that level, and the hourly higher low of support that I'm watching from Friday is 87.88. So 87.88 support and 88.90 resistance, currently the range to be watching, and WMT has been beat up over the last 2 weeks. You can see this hourly chart is trying to level out, get the hourly 20 period as support. Now we need follow through, and it's been lower highs on the daily 4 days in a row, so we have to break that pattern with a bull break of 88.90 today. MCD, another name that has been seeing some bearish action. So on Friday, we saw a big gap down, and the bulls tried to buy the dip. Let's see where we stand on the hourly. Support is 147.08 to maintain a little hourly higher low. We're still struggling at hourly exponential resistance. I'm looking at resistance of 148.48 and then 149.21. So very tight here on the hourly, still oversold on the hourly. Update the daily lower Bollinger Band resistance. That's going to be in play today as well. And as long as we keep closing under the daily lower Bollinger Band, the bears remain in control. So goal for the bulls today is to break those two resistance levels I just said and see a close over the daily lower Bollinger Band resistance. And then the hourly 20 period will be in play as well if we do break those two resistance levels. Checking back in on SPY as we head into the open. Still weak, trying to build a base of support down at the low of pre-market. And again, we're looking at the hourly higher low of support of 266.53, currently just about $1 above that level, while we are over $2 from the high of Friday resistance. So the bulls have a lot of momentum shifting to do to turn things around. And again, still watching oil, and we'll see if that correlation between oil and SPY on the 5-minute time frame begins to tighten up once the bell rings. Checking in on the open for Canadian MJ. A little bit of a higher open for APH and WEED is setting up. And a lower open for ACB. But again, we're just going to be watching the inside bars on the daily time frame for some direction. Let's see what Riot is doing. Riot is still building a base of support. If the Riot Bulls can break 1075, we have 3 tops the last 3 days between 1069 and 1075. So a break of 1075 would be bullish on Riot, and it looks like we're going to be testing that early on this morning. So after 1075 is 11 psychological and then 1139. And we'll just be looking for a short-term bounce. And again, I'd be looking for a bearish entry on Riot if we can see the Bulls make it up into the $12 range sometime this week. But first things first, the Bulls have a bit of momentum, and it was a daily inside bar. Actually, I take that back, it was not. But we need to see a break of 1075 for the Riot Bulls. So Netflix with a gap up, open to all-time highs coming. And if I had to rank the tech sector, it is Netflix number 1, then Amazon, Apple, Google, and then Facebook as the weakest. And again, a big part for that for Facebook is the fact that Zuckerberg sold 500 million in shares for another venture of his, I believe in all of February. That's a lot of volume. It's only going to add downward pressure. The VRX with some upgrades today. High of Friday, 1508. So we're seeing a gap up open. Support pre-market that needs to hold is 1535. So 1535 support, and resistance is 1560 and 1569. If the Bulls are able to break 1569, looking up at 16 as the next resistance level. So we do have a support level that's very clear for the Bulls to have to maintain here. Otherwise, we will lose momentum on this gap up open, and obviously the overall market condition is not favoring the Bulls on this gap up scenario. And another thing for VRX, update the lower Bollinger Band on the daily. That's going to be in play today, and the goal for the Bulls is to see this oversold daily bounce play out a little bit. Have to hold 1534 this morning. Checking back in on crypto. Bitcoin still holding up just fine on the hourly. And Ripple key support to maintain is 1034. We have an hourly equilibrium pattern on Ripple forming. High of the bounce, low of consolidation. We just formed a lower high, and we'll now look for the Bulls to form a higher low compared to 1034. And need to see, it's very important if you're trading Ripple, you need to see when Ripple's going to be on CNBC, because there is that possibility for that sell the news if we don't see anything about Coinbase and Ripple. So Cron, we're watching the daily inside bar. Break at 925 is bearish and break of 970 is bullish. If we break 970, we're looking at 1005. And the daily upper Bollinger Band is important to keep an eye on as well. So heading into the open, the bulls are trying to build a base of support on SPY in the 267.40s. So here's the open, lots of red on the screen to start. Netflix is the only major name that's green, and we got CMG at break even. ACB is clearly starting as the weakest Canadian MJ name first thing out of the few that I'm watching. So SPY, we got the 20-period 5-minute moving average resistance at 268.08. And it's going to take a lot of work for the bulls to turn around this 5-minute downtrend from pre-market. Very clear lower highs and lower lows. And anything under 268.43 on this bounce attempt will be a lower high on the 5-minute time frame for SPY. So, of course, we need Canopy WEED to break $30. Thanks for the XL info. And how cool is that it can look at a pre-market chart and know that a company got bought out? So SPY bulls trying to change the 5-minute trend, but still have work to do so. And again, it's all about the high of Friday for individual names. If bulls cannot break the high of Friday, they aren't going very far. And Netflix right now is the only name that has broken the high of Friday that I'm watching. Biotech bulls trying to see some green, just barely. High of Friday, key resistance being tested, 92.13. Currently a little double top at that level that has to break for the bulls. Nice recovery for the ACB bulls, trying to get back in line with the correlation with the other names. So slight green in Canadian MJ, but still no breaks of the daily inside bars at this point. Financial sector is the biggest weight on the S&P 500 right now, down 0.6%, while the tech sector is only down 0.3%. And Riot, we're watching that 1075 resistance, and so far we were unable to break it. We have another top in the 1070s now. Almost a quadruple top in that area. So SPY is currently rejecting from the 20-period 5-minute moving average resistance, watching the correlation with oil. Oil still seeing some 5-minute weakness as well. Oil is lower highs and lower lows on the 5-minute time frame. High of the day for WEED. Want to see a break of 29.50 psychological. Nice break. Still holding on to support. Still a ways to go. We need another 1.5% or so. Those MU bulls had a big day on Friday. and they are trying to follow through. And let's see, did they break the high of Friday? Yes, they did. So that's a great start. So instantly, MU now goes in a category of one of the stronger names because we broke the high of Friday, just like Netflix. So here's the breakout, getting over 49.46. This is the highest price we've seen in months on MU. All-time high is 49.89. That's the only level we're looking at. And the follow-through that we've seen since the daily lower high broke on MU has been really encouraging for the bulls. The SPY bulls holding on, but still lower highs on the 5-minute. You can see one by one some more names going green. The biotech sector broke the high of Friday, so that's instantly a good sign for the biotech bulls, showing that they are the strongest sector so far this morning. CMG bulls have a triple bottom at 309 that is holding on the daily chart, and if CMG bulls can see a break of resistance at 320.88 and 320.85, which we've already broken, so that's some good follow through for the CMG bulls so far to start the week. Next resistance is 325.69. And ACB was a nice laggard this morning and now catching up in terms of percentages. So SPY trying to break the 5-minute lower high pattern if we can get a bull break of 268.43. And the oil bulls are trying to break the 5-minute lower high as well. Keeping an eye on WEED, now 0.5% away from a bull break of $30. Ideal scenario for the bulls. NVDA is dumping. 5-minute RSI is oversold down at 22. Hourly key support, the higher low is 229.48. We are still holding that hourly higher low, and the 5-minute RSI is overextended. Last 5-minute moving average support is 232.07. So SPY has broken the lower high pattern on the 5-minute time frame. So when we do consolidate on this 5-minute time frame, we will anticipate a higher low, keeping in mind this bounce is coming from the low of the pullback. So we need to form a 5-minute higher low and higher high to be confident in this trend reversal from pre-market weakness. ACB daily inside bar broke bullish at 1074 and also broke resistance at 1079. Now the daily lower high of 1109 is the next target. So the fact that it broke bullish is a good sign for the other names, but of course we have to see the other names follow through as well. I have a WEED position from Friday, a smaller position that I was anticipating to hold for a swing trade, and I would exit if we broke the inside bar bearish. So if we break the inside bar bullish, I'm just going to sit on it for a bit and see if we can have a bullish week in Canadian MJ. So the financial sector trying to bounce a bit, and now the financial and tech sector are both down pretty much the same amount. This is now our 4th or 5th top for WEED in the 2990s. So next SPY resistance is going to be 268.76 from pre-market. And we did bounce right off the hourly 20-period support. Trying to keep that hourly higher low pattern going. Oil is at the top of its bounce, just like SPY. SQ still a very bullish daily chart overall. Inside bar bull break for SQ this morning, 46.12, and look at that reaction. Huge 2% plus follow through right away when that daily inside bar broke first thing. And resistance is 48 even. There goes WEED. How about that bull break? Lots of buy orders triggered there. Everybody was watching $30. Instant 1% to the upside. So a great start to the week for Canadian MJ. Keeping in mind that WEED has not consolidated on the 5-minute time frame since the open. So we are getting a little bit overextended. We will anticipate some healthy 5-minute consolidation sooner rather than later. But we are getting really nice signals so far for the sector to start this week. That's exactly the follow through that the WEED bulls wanted to see. We knew that $30 was a clear level that everybody was watching. And as soon as we break it within 5 minutes, we go 2%. That shows nice follow through. Checking MJ, the sector ETF. Break at 32.58 was a good sign, and next we're looking at 33.14 as the next resistance. Checking in on APH, we know APH has been lagging the bulls in the sector overall, but we did get an inside bar bull break there as well. Keeping in mind that both ACB, which is very close to breaking the daily lower highs, 1109, still has not done it. WEED and CRON are the only two out of the big four that have broken their daily lower highs. And APH has a long way to go, 1541. That's not happening anytime soon. LOW resistance, we're going to be looking at the daily lower Bollinger Band. 86.60, it's going to move with the price as the price approaches it. And low is a double bottom. The low of Friday and the low of today, a difference of 2 pennies. Hourly 20-period resistance is 86.17. Big dump on Netflix on the 5-minute time frame. That's a very surprising 5-minute dump. Couldn't break the high of pre-market, but that is a very significant move without the market seeing a whole lot of weakness to cause that kind of dump. CRON.V, which is the ticker change for MJN. And I don't believe the daily inside bar has broken yet. 1190 support and 1247 resistance. So we have a double top, the high of Friday and the high of today. Inside bar bull breaks across the board except for CRON. Have to see a new high of the day. And support is 1228 and 1190. Netflix would have to drop over 5% to be an outside reversal day. So I'm going to go ahead and say there's a 95% chance that's not going to happen. I have enough of a WEED position that I don't need to add. I'm going to look to hold it for potentially a couple of days. It's smaller than I normally go for the kind of gap up plays, which I go in heavy for, but it's enough of a position that I'm perfectly fine and not in any rush to add. $30 will be support, but the entry signal was the bull break of the daily inside bars for the Canadian MJ sector today. But we will anticipate those resistance levels to be support if we do head back to test them. As WEED bulls are trying to see a new high of the day, 31.35 is a pretty key resistance for WEED on the daily. And if we get over that level, it'll be the highest price we've seen in a month. So we're now looking for SPY to form that 5-minute higher low after the first 10 minutes started so bullish, comparative to where we were, of course. AGN trying to form a bullish reversal candlestick on the daily. The lower Bollinger Band on the daily is key resistance in the low 146s. Hourly 20-period resistance, 145.77. So that's a couple now, a couple oversold names where the daily lower Bollinger Band, and low is the other name, daily lower Bollinger Band, and hourly 20-period resistance. CRON bulls trying to break the high of their daily inside bar. A little bit of a laggard to the sector. Pretty decent correlation on SPY and oil first thing this morning. Keeping an eye on it. Checking in on volume, we want to see increased volume for Canadian MJ with these daily inside bar bull breaks. So WEED wants to see more than 7.3 million. And I actually need to double check that level, as stock charts give some wrong data sometimes. 5.15. So we're well over 20% of Friday's total volume, which is a good sign in the first 18 minutes of trading. So WEED 5-minute chart still has not really seen much consolidation. ACB is a double top on the daily, trying to break its daily lower highs, 1109, and we've topped out at 1108 today. All about 1109 resistance, and again, 5-minute healthy consolidation. Wouldn't be surprised to see it in Canadian MJ sooner rather than later, after a very bullish first 15 minutes. As SPY bulls are trying to form their 5-minute high or low. NVDA is definitely the weakest name on my screen so far this morning. 5-minute RSI is 16. And again, we're still holding that hourly high or low at 229.48. So we'll see if we get a 5-minute equilibrium. The range that we're seeing on this 5-minute time frame in the last half an hour alludes that we could see that play out. And we certainly saw how the 5-minute equilibrium pattern to start Friday's trading was the indication of direction for the entire day. So just looking back at Friday's action, we had our high of the day and the low of the day set in the first 15 minutes, and then a lower high, higher low. The bull break occurred at about 10:40, and then the bulls held the rest of the day. So we'll see if we get a similar setup with a tight 5-minute pattern to be watching. So SPY bulls trying to form this 5-minute high or low. Canadian MJ still holding strong. So MU has a complete lack of resistance where we stand at blue sky breakout. As we know, the bulls can really run blue sky breakout. We will look to see healthy 5-minute consolidation, which hasn't happened yet today. 51 psychological resistance. Canadian MJ with the follow through. AGN long-term is a bear, and it's going nowhere in terms of changing its trend. Now, in terms of an oversold bounce, the daily and the weekly RSI are both just at 30, just under 30. So we could see a short-term bounce with the potential target of the gap fill on the daily at 153.26. We're testing the daily lower Bollinger Band resistance right now. But as far as long-term goes, it is a big-time bear. So watching this 5-minute equilibrium pattern set up for SPY. WMT. Bull flag potential on the 5-minute time frame. So already broke the high of Friday, which is a good sign for the bulls. The next resistance after the high of today is 90.18. And the low of this bull flag consolidation right now is 88.84, which the bulls ideally want to hold. Ideal day for WEED. If we can break 31.35, it is a big time day for the bulls today if they can pull that off. NVDA resistance on the bounce attempt. The 200 period 5-minute moving average is lining up with exponential resistances, 232.07 currently. So we'll likely need to see a little 5-minute higher low and higher high to shift this momentum to favor the bulls. Checking oil 5-minute time frame, definitely a bull move, so good eye there, and looks like SPY is not correlating. The SPY range that I'm watching right now is 267.70 support and 268.43 resistance. So ACB has now broken the daily lower high pattern, just like WEED. APH is not going to do it anytime soon. So the Canadian MJ sector, 3 out of the 4 of the big 4 have changed the daily trend, broken the downtrend, and now they're going to try and form higher lows and higher highs. And if WEED breaks 31.35, the next resistance that we're looking at, 31.77, 32.28, but those aren't really significant resistance levels. The next significant level is 35.63. But we do have the daily upper Bollinger Band resistance to be aware of, and it's going to require a close above the 30.60s to close above the daily upper Bollinger Band resistance into breakout mode for WEED. So we need this volume to keep up. So SPY still bouncing around in this tightening range on the 5-minute. So Netflix bulls are still holding on strong. Facebook bulls are trying to be the #2 tech sector name. Today, at least. We already broke the high of Friday on Facebook, so that's a good sign for those bulls. Biotech sector continuing with the follow-through. Not a huge day, but some decent follow-through after breaking the high of Friday there as well. Everybody else is still forming inside bars. So Amazon has a daily inside bar forming. And checking Apple. Apple actually did already break the high of Friday as well. So all of the tech sector breaking the high of Friday except for, I should say all the main names, except for Google and Amazon. ACB, next resistance, 1134. And then 1171. We should see a SPY break of this tightening 5-minute pattern sometime in the next 20 minutes or so. And a break of 267.70 would be bearish. Checking in on the BABA daily chart, as BABA was pretty beat up last week. Weak follow through from Friday's candlestick. Even though we broke that high of Friday, Bull's not really able to hold on to those gains so far this morning. SQ was a weekly equilibrium pattern that broke bullish last week at 47.50. So it looks like just following through from that and a break of 48 would have us looking up at the all-time high as the only resistance, 49.56. OLED, 5-minute equilibrium pattern, so support 121.10, resistance is 122.42 for the 5-minute equilibrium pattern. Hourly chart still favoring the bears, as is the daily, as we hit lower highs and lower lows so far today. And the next support on OLED, if we break the low, next weekly support is down at 107.06. CRON. So we did break the daily inside bar bullish. Next resistance was 1290, and we pulled back under that level. So still maintaining 5-minute higher lows. 1230 is now a must-hold support. Otherwise, we're heading to the low of the day, which is the last thing that the bulls want to do after seeing a bull break. So it does look like we're struggling with the daily upper Bollinger Band a little bit. Not the convincing kind of strength and hold-up that we're seeing in the other names, but that's, of course, because we ran so hard last week. The bull's still holding on, but a break of 1230 would be a short-term red flag. INTC, very weak on the 5-minute time frame, rejecting from exponential resistance. Daily inside bar looks pretty likely today as we were unable to break the high of Friday early on. Hourly support, afternoon consolidation low from Friday, 48.03. SPY is very close to a 5-minute bear break. US ticker for Cron, 948 is the must-hold level. And resistance is the high of today, and then 10.05, the high of the breakout. Twitter bulls looking great. Following through, breaking the high of Friday is a great sign. The next resistance on the daily, 33.45, and then 34.05. And the daily chart certainly favors the bulls, although could still stay in a tightening range on this daily chart into next week. Still a lot of trading time this week, but the way that the pattern is setting up, either way, short-term bulls for Twitter certainly in control. So NLC2, the bulls have to form a daily higher low. It's obviously pretty illiquid. So the bulls are looking to form a daily higher low compared to 0.000000001, however many zeros that is. So we're looking for a higher low compared to that level, and then the bulls will have to see a break of 1499 to see a daily higher low and a higher high to change the trend. Definitely keeping an eye on SPY weakness for the Canadian MJ sector. And it took a small amount of profit, about 25% on WEED, for that reason alone, really. Also, the upper Bollinger Band is a bit concerning. WEED bulls need to see a close above the 3060s to close above that daily upper Bollinger Band. So SPY is breaking 5-minute higher low of support. So now we're just looking at the low of pre-market, 267.41. And we're back to testing the hourly 20-period support on SPY. So there is potential that the upper Bollinger Band could contain the price on WEED today. It's going to be the difference between breakout mode on the daily or a bull break and a rejection from resistance. CMG bulls keep control on the daily as long as the quadruple bottom, or it's a triple bottom, at 309 holds. The daily chart has bounced off of 309 3 times in the past 2 weeks. So that's now the must-hold level on the daily chart to keep the bulls in complete control. GBTC. Daily chart 1732 support. Break of 1876 today was a good sign. Actually, yeah, we did break it first thing. So next daily resistance is 2040. And have to hold 1732 to keep the daily higher lows. So at this point, resistance on SPY is going to be 268.43. Riot has to break 1075. It's a very clear daily resistance. If it doesn't break 1075, the bears keep control. So WEED, new 5-minute higher low trying to form at 3040. Checking in on oil, and the 5-minute time frame for oil and SPY are not correlating over the last 25 minutes. Otherwise, SPY would certainly be seeing more bullish action. So at this point, Netflix has a lot of decent volatility to be trading, going back and forth from red to green. 5-minute equilibrium, definitely going to be on watch for for Netflix. We had the all-time high, the low of the day, a lower high on the 5-minute, and now the bulls are trying to form their 5-minute higher low. So that will be a nice tightening pattern to be watching later into the morning. So Netflix is getting nice and tight. SPY is still forming lower highs on the 5-minute time frame. But we're also still holding hourly 20-period support. So definitely a battle between the bulls and the bears so far this morning without a clear winner just yet. Still some indecision on the SPY 5-minute. I will take more of my WEED position off if we lose the 5-minute higher low pattern. So SPY bulls will need a new high of the day to convince us of any follow through, which will have us looking at the high of Friday, 269.72. There's some nice pre-market resistance levels to be watching as well, even if we do get a new high of the day. Netflix tightening up now, so the range on Netflix for the 5-minute equilibrium is 321 support and 303.15 resistance. So I'm going to wrap up the morning webcam. For the rest of the day, I'm watching Canadian MJ to see if we can keep up the 5-minute higher lows and seeing if WEED can close above the daily upper Bollinger Band resistance to head into breakout mode. Netflix 5-minute equilibrium pattern is on the verge of a bull break, watching very close as the SPY bulls will need to break the high of the day to regain momentum in their favor. And SPY resistance after the high of the day is 268.76, and then 269.31 is the high of pre-market. Tesla next resistance is going to be the high of the day, 335.09, and then the high of Friday, which is 335.22, right there as well. So it is a double top Friday and today so far. And the next resistance after that won't be for a bit. It'll be up in the upper 330s. And there's no real clear level. I guess the hourly 200 period resistance is just under 340. So hope you all have a good rest of your morning. I'll be back in 15 minutes to continue coverage in the chat room, keeping a close eye on this 5-minute WEED setup. Need to hold 3040.